الله أكبر الله أكبر.
The Umrah, the sacred journey to Mecca, where a person performs the lesser pilgrimage. It's recommended to perform Umrah whenever one can, because in an authentic hadith, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "From one Umrah to another is expiation for what comes in between." This is an incentive to visit Allah's house as many times as a person can in their lifetime. Preparation involves both intention as well as action. How can one resist visiting the house of Allah, the first house built for Allah's worship by Abraham or Ibrahim alayhi salam and his son Ismail?
إن أول بيت وضع للناس للذي ببكة مباركا وهدى للعالمين فيه آيات بينات مقام إبراهيم ومن دخله كان آمنا ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا ومن كفر فإن الله غني عن العالمين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Mecca. This is Al-Haram, and we will be taking a visual tour of the Umrah, or the lesser pilgrimage, in hope that people who watch this will be inspired to either go again or to go and visit this place for the first time, the holiest place on the face of the planet. When I boarded the plane, I did so with the intention that I would be visiting Allah's house purely in order to attain His pleasure, and also to cleanse my soul of some of the impurities that have attached themselves to it. We are now passing over the Miqat soon. All the pilgrims are in their pilgrimage attire, and we'll be passing over the Miqat, which is the boundary, after which you should be in a spiritual state of ihram. You cannot cut your nails, you cannot cut your hair, and there are a few other restrictions that apply to the pilgrim. As we passed over the Miqat or boundary, we assumed ihram, the spiritual state required of a person when they wish to perform Hajj or Umrah. After this, people started to recite the Talbiyah, which is a verbal declaration by the pilgrim. The drive from the airport is a long one, and a person is recommended to continue to say the Talbiyah, announcing to Allah that they have arrived. Right then, so I've checked into my hotel. It's the Grand Mecca Hotel, it's just behind the Haram, and it seems to be a good quality hotel, but as is always the case, when you come here, you don't really come for the hotel, and I'm just going to rest up a little bit before I head. And you know, the journey here does really remind you that this is really a special place, and to get here will never ever be easy. And it just shows you that just like any place that's special, this is the most sacred place on the earth, and to get here will never be easy because the rewards are immense. People come to the Haram from all different sides of the masjid, saying the same Talbiyah. When a person sees the Kaaba for the first time, they are awestruck. Every time I see it, I am reminded of Allah, His knowledge and His Lordship. I'm reminded of our purpose on the earth, which is to seek His pleasure and avoid His displeasure. It is to live our lives, but to keep in mind that we are here to worship Him, praying our 5 prayers, fasting Ramadan, paying our zakah, and so on. After reaching the Kaaba, I performed the tawaf, which is the circumambulation of the Kaaba, 7 times. This is done amongst at least 1 million people. This is an action completed not only on earth here, but also in the heavens. It is said that there is a Kaaba in the heavens, named Bayt al-Ma'mur, which the angels go around, 70,000 a day, with the same angels never returning. Instead, new ones do this every day. Following on from this, I prayed my 2 rakats near the standing place of Ibrahim, and then moved to the Sa'i, which is the running between Mount Safa and Marwa.
إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله فمن حج البيت أو اعتمر فلا جناح عليه أن يطوف بهما ومن تطوع خيرا فإن الله شاكر عليم.
This is to remind ourselves of the running Hajar alayhi salam did for her son Ismail when he was crying for water and she had none to give him. I am always moved by the fact that an action performed by one of the female heroes of Islam is not only mentioned in the Quran, but is a staple part of the Hajj and also the Umrah. There are green lights overhead, and when a man reaches them, he has to run to mimic the running Hajar did. It was during this moment, of course, that Zamzam gushed forth when Ismail kicked his heel on the ground. And that is why Zamzam water is dotted all around the Sa'i area, free to drink. After that, it is a case of shaving or trimming the hair, and the Umrah is complete. The person can then come out of Ihram into more comfortable attire, no longer restricted by the possibility of breaking their Ihram. During a person's stay in Mecca, they can visit some of the other sites located nearby, between prayers of course. You can visit the places which are part of the Hajj. These include the Jamarat, where a person symbolically stones the devils. It also includes the thousands of tents in Mina, where a person must reside during the Hajj. You can also visit Mount Arafah, which is central to the completion of the Hajj. This place is special for quite a few reasons.
This is Arafah, and behind me is Jabal al-Rahmah. Now Arafah is significant for many reasons. First of all, we know that Adam alayhi salam and Hawa, Adam and Eve, when they were sent to the earth, this is where they were sent to, here in Arafah, and this is where they met as well. Second reason this is important is that when a person comes for Hajj, they have to come here as part of the Hajj. If there's no Arafah, there's no Hajj for them. They haven't completed their Hajj. So part of the main pilgrimage is to come here to Arafah. And of course, the third important reason that Arafah is significant is that on the Day of Judgment, all of mankind will be gathered here in Arafah. Just being here reminds us of human history. Of all the places on the face of the earth, this is where we started and this is where we will end up.
The next step is to head to Medina, the city of the Prophets, peace and blessings be upon him, in a long but beautiful 4-hour drive across the desert. Driving to Medina, one is reminded that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, made this journey too, of course without a car and under duress, as the leaders of Mecca were hot on his trail. you'll probably reach Medina by nightfall. The next morning, you have to prepare yourself to be in the blessed city of Medina. Masjid Nabawi is captivating. It really, really is. There is a sense of peace in Medina, and you feel it most when you are at the masjid. As I walked to the masjid, I was filled with nothing but sakina, which is the Arabic word for an inner sense of tranquility. The arches in the masjid seem to go on forever, and of course, the reward for any good deed done here is multiplied by 50,000 at the very least. This is why it's a good idea to head to a special part of the mosque at night, which is called the Garden of Paradise.
Just walking now to the Rawdat al-Jannah. It is said to be one of the pieces of paradise. In an authentic hadith, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that between my house and my pulpit there is a garden from the gardens of paradise. So if you pray there, it's as if you have prayed on an actual piece of paradise.
It is incredibly congested here, as it's located in the original part of the masjid. But if you are fortunate enough and patient enough, you can pray where the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to pray, and where his companions used to pray. After praying there, you also give your salams to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and his companions Abu Bakr and Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhuma. Another masjid to visit in Medina is Masjid Quba. This is the first masjid the Prophet, peace be upon him, built upon arriving in Medina.
This is Masjid al-Quba behind me. It's the first masjid here built in Medina, and it's the first masjid built by the Muslims. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, built this masjid with his own two hands. And as you can see, if you look at the masjid behind me, it's kept quite simplistic. It's not made very ornate, and this is in line with the tradition of the Prophet, peace be upon him, who was himself quite a simple person. If we head inside, we'll be able to see a little bit more what the mosque is like on the inside. So, let's head inside.
His worth in character and beauty to ever walk on earth.
This is the first ever mosque built by the Prophet, peace be upon him, and it was the first ever place of worship for the Muslims, and it's built right here in Medina. And you do really get a sense of the simplistic nature of this mosque, and it's not very ornate, it's kept very simple even to this day. Being here just makes you realize how much this one great man achieved. The city gave him refuge, gave the believers refuge, and when they needed a place of worship, this was the mosque that they built. So, I've prayed in a few mosques around the world now. Praying in the first mosque is really quite a touching experience. There are also exhibitions which you can visit in Medina, dedicated to celebrating the life and achievements of the Prophet Muhammad, the greatest man to have walked the earth. Every time I come here, I find something new, and every time I leave, I cannot wait to return.
I hope this video has been beneficial in inspiring the viewers to come and visit here, Mecca, the holiest place on the face of the planet.